Hello, welcome to the Appian World presentation on how Appian engineering runs on Appian. Have you ever wondered how the Appian sausage is made? Well, you've come to the right talk. So first, let me introduce myself. My name is Suvajit Gupta. I am the SVP of Appian engineering. I joined Appian back in early 2013, and at that time, the department was pretty small. And over the last 7 years that I've been at Appian, we've grown significantly. Actually, we've 10x our department. So in this talk, I'm going to talk about that journey and how we use this incredible low-code platform called Appian. We have an enterprise license for that. And you're going to learn two things, hopefully, through this talk. You're going to hear about the art of the possible with Appian. You're going to see some incredible-looking screens built on Appian. And you're also going to be learning about how to do Agile at scale, because I know all of you use Appian, and Agile is important to you. So let's get into it. So the way I'm going to do this talk is to present it from the viewpoint of the four major personas that work within Appian engineering. I'll start off with the staff manager persona. Those are the people that manage our developers and testers, and we built a great team site for them to work within. Then I'm going to flip into the product manager role, and those are the people that are using our product site to plan our quarterly releases, come up with the features that you all enjoy, and map it to the use case and talk through all of that. Thereafter, we're going to switch to the squad coach role, where these are the people that are managing our Agile teams, and we built a delivery site for them to keep track of how the team is performing and all the metrics, and you'll see a lot of detail on how we execute with Agile. And last but not least, we're going to focus on the software and quality engineer perspective. We built a technology site for them where they can go do their work of building enterprise software for you. So let's start with the staff manager role. I myself fall into this role, so let's see what we want to see within the Appian engineering site. So you can see here, this is the landing page for the engineering team site. So as the department has grown, we use this as the place that people start. They can see everything from our team structure to our culture to the career paths at the top using a billboard layout. You're going to see how we can highlight the leadership of the department. We have everything from our departmental mission, all of that listed there. By the way, these are click-through links. And when you put your mouse on that by hover, it'll show you what's the detail behind it. Right below, you can even see things like column dividers. This is a new feature that is about to ship. So we take advantage of the latest, greatest features on Appian, and I'll talk more about that. The next thing we had to do was invent this idea of councils. So obviously in a growing department of over 300 people now, going towards 400, we have to make sure that all of us are rowing in the same direction. So every company that I've been in, and I've been in enterprise software for over 30 years now, and I've been through 3 IPO events, I've been in mostly fast-growing companies like Appian. And one of the things I've learned is that it's about strategy, people, process, and technology. And we have 4 consoles that are basically those words, and we have a VP in engineering assigned to each of them. I lead the strategy console, so I'll talk more about that in the rest of this talk. So this is an example of the governance page where we list our consoles, and it shows you how to use multiple column layouts to pack in a lot of content into the screen. So anybody can come and find out the console, see the membership, and so on, and find the information that they're looking for. The next thing we have is this idea of guilds. This is an informal group of people that meet to talk about things that they're interested in. It might be about graphic design. It might be about coordinating meetups and so on. So they self-organize, get on Google Calendar, and then using Appian's integration capabilities, we're able to extract that information and bring it into Appian and render it with our Sail technology so that we can see these various guilds, their locations for their meetings, their membership, and so on, and you can even go and join. So that's another thing at the department level that we have. Moving on to how we manage our execution, just a quick intro. We use something called annual goals. These are big, hairy, audacious goals that we set for ourselves. The engineering department runs on a Appian World to Appian World cadence. I call that our fiscal year. So while the rest of the company operates as a public company from January through December, we work from one Appian World, which is happening now, to the next one. And we plan these big, complex goals that we deliver a maximum impact for you all. So this is an example of a goal that we did for making all of our deployments in Appian frictionless. So we plan these goals, and then using things like our Google Docs integration, we can have even more detail inside of these kinds of slides that we can bring directly into Appian. And people can see this all in one spot. Once we have goals, we assign capacity to those goals. So this is the way to assign 1 or 4 or 10 teams to these areas that we're investing in. And then we go about our work. So this is a screen that shows our capacity allocations. So you can see that we're working on things like records and cloud native and so on and so forth. And the graphs at the right show how many people are working in each of these areas. So all of this is tracked and available to anybody who wants to understand what's going on. We also have used components that like tag component here. This is a way to show which goal this particular area is tagged with. And if you click on that tag, it takes you to the goal record where you can find out a lot more information. At the department level, we track a lot of statistics. So these are the key performance indicators or KPIs that we care about. So we obviously worry about attrition. We worry about, are we hiring the right number of people? Are there too many remote people? So we look at all these metrics that we've set up for ourselves. And on a screen like this, using all of our graphics capabilities, you can get a glance of what's going on. So we can see this gauge component shows us that we're early on in the year, that we're moving along with our hiring targets. We use UI patterns like for KPIs that you can drag and drop in our interface designer and then customize it to your specific needs. But all of these provide these really attractive experiences for our engineering to come and find out what they're looking for. Now, all software in Appian engineering is manufactured by small, empowered teams. We've taken a page out of the Spotify model, the music companies. That's really a software company. As they grew, they invented terminology like tribes and squads. So we've adopted some of those words, but basically the idea is that this team of people sitting here working happily together, they're grouped into tribes that are basically aligned on producing a bigger outcome. So these teams obviously from the whole department, and you can see that's all of us in our headquarters in Tyson's Corner, just a picture taken for Appian World. But these kinds of images and components embedded in these experiences make it a lot more attractive for people to come in and help themselves. So for people that want to find out specifically on a tribe that's focused on, say, continuous delivery, we have multiple teams that are shown here. And you can come in and find out. We've obviously anonymized the names here to protect the innocent, but you can see that all of the engineers here are listed. We find out how long they've been with Appian, what their title is. If they're remote, they get an airplane. So this is the power of low code, right? There is no off-the-shelf software that would do exactly what we wanted. So we used Appian, and we were able to customize it for what we need within my department. So that's the team site. Additionally, you can embed things like links to other documents. So for example, for a tribe, we often have all hands meetings. And so this is a link to their all hands content so that if you miss the last one, you can come in and help yourself. Then following that, we also look at assignments. So all the engineers move on a quarterly basis from, say, they stay on a team for a few quarters, they might transfer into another tribe or another team. So we have these assignments that we can look at for the next few quarters from one Appian world to another to see where they're going to be working over the calendar year. This is an example of using the card layout component in a way that you can sort of put them next to each other so it looks like what you see on screen. I can have the team name, the number of people, all of that. Those are custom things that we've done to make it look exactly like the way we want to lay them out. Moving on to the next page of the team site, we have the people page. This is where we have the employee lifecycle all mapped out, everything from our openings, which you're looking at. These are the requisitions that my team is hiring for. And you see the recruiters' faces who are helping us fill those positions. And we basically, again, use patterns that are available in Appian now, like this user list pattern. You can drag and drop it and customize it for your specific needs. Then you can drill into individual engineers, right? You can find out more about myself. You can see where I've got my master's degree. You can find out where I'm going to be working and what consoles I'm on. So all of this rich information is drill down available to anybody who wants to find some of those specifics. These are examples of using section layouts to really organize your content. This is a record list that I built using Sail so that I could put all the things that I wanted to there that had more control than the records list component that we ship out of the box. We are knowledge workers, so we're constantly doing things like Appian Talks, where if somebody goes to a conference, they want to come back and teach their colleagues. We also answer each other's questions. So we use this tool called Answers, where if somebody asks a question about how to do this in Sail or how to make this integration work, their colleagues answer those questions, and this is like an internal Stack Overflow. And so we've integrated that Answers tool directly into the Appian learning page using our web components, web content field layout. so that you can just experience it right there. You don't have to pop out into another UI and log in again. It's all put in right into the Appian experience. All right, so that was a lot of stuff for the people working at the team level, managers, directors, VPs. Now let's switch over to product managers. These are the folks that you'll hopefully meet after Appian World is over for the rest of that week. We really like engaging with our customers and partners to hear directly from you. And so let's talk about how product managers use the Appian sites to capture your feedback. So first of all, I've been in software, as I said, for a while, and I found that in all companies, we have to get feedback from the field, right? We need to listen to input from marketing, from sales, from our partners and services teams, all the way to our support teams. And you can see that it's kind of that circular picture. All that feedback flows into engineering, and they can take the shape of either requests, right? You want an enhancement, or complaints, something's not working as you like. And those flow into Appian engineering. We process it. We use things like AI to actually triage those things and send it to the right team. And then the inner red circle is showing the filter, right? The things that we will then accept is that that's valid feedback. We will take that and put it on our backlog, and it works its way through the system. And at the bottom, the innermost circle is the one that should be most exciting to you. That's the stuff that we're going to ship to you in the next release. We call it the quarterly release. Over a year, we have 4 of them. And by the time you show up at an Appian World, we have a lot of great stuff to talk about, right? So that's the overall process by which your feedback makes it into and shapes the product. So first, how do we capture our interactions? So when you meet our product managers after Appian World, all of the discussions that you're having with them will be captured within Appian. This is a record in Appian called the interactions record, and it captures your detail. Maybe there's a mock-up that we can attach based on what you shared with us. These interactions are then built out with things like box layouts. We actually have a collaboration component at the bottom. You can see that a lot of times people have active discussions, right? A customer said this, well, did they think about this? And then someone has an idea. If you want to build in that kind of rich collaboration on a record, you can just go to the app market, download this component, and insert it with a few lines of SAIL right into your experience. And then you can enjoy this kind of collaboration. All right, when those interactions roll into Appian, we then capture them and group them into what are called use cases. Use cases are sort of your problems, so that we make sure that we understand how many customers have asked for this and what are they looking for. So that's our way of capturing the problem statement. And this is an Appian record list. And at the top of the record list, we've used a recent feature, which is the list action. So now you don't have to pop out to Tempo Actions tab to make a new one. You just get a button right on top of the record list, which is where it should be. And when you press that, you can create a new record list action for this kind of record, right? So you'll get a new product use case. All right, those product use cases then make their way into Appian features. These are the things that you should be the most excited about. We plan them, we design them, we roll it out. We often get feedback from you all to make sure they're awesome, and then we ship them in a quarterly release. So this is a list of features. We often have to prioritize and filter, so you can add some really powerful filters at the top, and we can even remember these filters. You can save them for use later. So a lot of really good things have been added to records, so we hope you enjoy them in the coming year. And then this is what a feature card looks like. This is one example of a feature that shows what is the feature, why are we building it, more importantly, why now, why not next year, what is it, what does it look like. So all of this is packed into one single UI. This is a record summary view. And here's another example of some additional power you can enjoy. You can go out to the app market and download this rich text editor component. And this allows you to make even richer content, like you can see there, images and bolding and so on, all on your SAIL UIs. Now I'll show you a few patterns. So this is an example of what we call our release browser. So since we're in the business of shipping quarterly releases, we list all those releases in this view. And then when you click on one, we see the details. This is an example of a very common and nice pattern called master detail. So when you click on the master, you see the detail. I would get the same detail if I clicked on the features and the use cases right on this one screen. And continuing to use lots of visuals. We love to see trends and graphs and pie charts to see the distributions of things, so you can pack all those into your Appian UIs. Another interesting feature that I wanted to highlight is this idea of records are related to each other. So a release record has feature records have use case records, and you can connect these through record relationships, and that's what we've done here. And once we ship all these features, we want to make sure that you all are using them and hopefully enjoying them. So we have built lots of instrumentation into our feature set. So when you are using them, we get to know if you're on the cloud. And as well as if you're on-prem, we load all that data into Appian, and then we can chart that. And this is the kind of graphs we like to see, right? This is showing that sites at the top in blue has been a very popular feature. Since we released it, it's just been going up, and now it's used by 3/4 of you all. Same thing with the decision tables that we released a couple of years ago. This is the kind of trends that we like to see. Of course, there are features that we are slowly deprecating that have kind of fallen out of favor and aren't used as much, and that's what we intend. But this allows us to get that first-hand look into what's happening in the field, and we can then adjust accordingly. If we see that something is not being adopted, then we can interrogate that, find out what's wrong, go fix it, and then hopefully get back up on the upswing. So this is an example of another chart, the line chart, very popular, and you can hang your mouse on those dots and see the actual data points. We can drill in further and look into, if you're a product manager, you're not just going to look at a high-level chart like that. You're going to want to find out. If I built the drag-and-drop interface and Appian Interface Designer, I want to know, what are you dragging? What are you dropping? I want a lot more detail, so we have this metrics explorer that gets into as much detail as the product manager wants that they've instrumented, and they can drill. And we got these really powerful components. One of them is called the hierarchy browser. It's basically a way to navigate a tree of possibilities, so you can click and drill and get to the details that you want. All right, 2 personas down, 2 more to go. So the next one is the squad coach persona, or the Agile Coach, some people call it. The squad coach is responsible for making sure that every quarter we deliver the plan scope with, of course, enterprise quality. We never compromise that. And like clockwork, we ship a release to you every quarter, and it's packed with great functionality. So this is probably the most complex Sail UI that I've personally built, and might have even seen built on Sail. So this is a great example of an information-dense UI that packs a lot of punch. So let me start at the top, right? We have this banner at the top, which is reflective of our spring season, and it changes by the month, so it always looks fresh. Then we are looking at a particular tribe and team. So for this team, UI is actually projected. If you visit Appian headquarters at any point and you do a tour, you'll find that our teams sit in these pit areas where all 10 of them basically sit together, pair code, whiteboard. We're not doing that right now with coronavirus, but in normal times, they're sitting in their pits and working on this. And this is the TV that shows who the team is. You can see the faces of the people. You can see their roles and names. You can then find out in the middle, what are they working on this quarter? So that's the current release backlog. And we have these check marks that are showing, are they following the processes that we've laid out? We obviously want to build enterprise software, so we have to both plan, design, code, test, deliver very, very carefully. So those release gates keep us honest and make sure that we don't forget to, say, do the performance review and so on and so forth. And so that's the middle part. And then at the bottom, we're showing quarter by quarter what this particular team has shipped. And that's very important for us because, remember, I talked that once we ship a feature, we don't forget about it. We're trying to make sure that it's being adopted, that people have updated to it. If they have feedback, then we can go fix it and issue a hotfix. So the past is very important to us because we want to make sure that you are adopting and enjoying the features. And then at the lower right is the next quarter. As we work on the current quarter before the time is up, we also have to make sure that we're planning the next quarter and breaking down our tasks and estimating things so that we know what to commit to, so that we can continue the delivery of features in a smooth way. So this UI, I can take a breath now, it has a lot of stuff, as you can tell, and we took advantage of a fantastic feature that only Appian offers called parallel evaluation. So to render this UI, I am making multiple calls to Jira, which backs some of this. I'm calling the data from 4 record types, from users to records to releases, and pulling all that together. This UI runs in about 1.5 seconds, which is incredible. That is only possible because we use Appian's parallel evaluation capability that allows us to fork off all these queries and then get the answers back as quickly as possible and reassemble the answer for you. We also have things like Gantt charts built into Appian now so that we can take those features, and a team would like to know in much more detail, what is the sequence of operations, right? What do we build first, and then what's next and what's last? So as things finish, we turn them green, as you can see. As they're active, we turn them blue. And if some of them blow up, we turn them red, and then we take corrective action. But this is an example of another very nice Sail UI that we built that essentially is a Gantt chart. And this is powered, as I said, with integrations to Jira. So Appian is very good at integrating to external systems. I've given you numerous examples, even in this talk. These are ways to use our connected systems and our integrations to bring data into Appian to show in one unified interface. So another part that product managers care about is planning their annual plan. So as they work from one Appian world 4 quarters out to the next one, as soon as one Appian world is done, we're behind schedule on the next one, right? So we have to move quickly and deliberately through the 4 quarters. So a good product manager will be laying out all of their features that they're working on at a high level, and then as each quarter is proceeding, we flesh out all the details. But this is an example of what used to be called the roadmap, but it's the annual plan, right? Some of these move around as we break things down and adjust them. We are agile, but we're also very deliberate, and we call our shots so that we can go execute another great year for Appian. These are examples of trying to, again, pack in all this information. You see these multiple columns. Even within the columns, I've used side-by-side layouts. If anybody wants to find out how to do these kinds of UIs, I hope you're inspired by these. We have lots of help for you. We have UX guidelines. In the Interface Designer, we have lots of patterns that you can drag and drop and leverage. We also have a lot of app market components that I'll call out throughout this talk that you can download and use for free. So this is an example of using some more charts. Obviously, in an Agile team, metrics are very important to us. We track how fast are we going. We track how much tech debt are we creating, right? So all of these charts are meaningful for the people that watch these on a weekly basis and then can take corrective action. As soon as coronavirus hit, our velocity dipped a little bit, as was expected. And then we've kind of recovered. We've all learned to work remotely, and our velocity has recovered, and now we're working as fast as we were before coronavirus, which is great. So these UIs, again, since they run on our TVs, we don't have someone standing there and clicking the refresh button. Appian has a great feature called auto-refreshing UIs, and that allows us to automatically redraw these screens as the data underneath changes. All right, picking up the pace, software quality engineers, what do? They come in and write lots of really complex code. They do design reviews, technical reviews. We have a site for them. This is an example on the left. If you remember the team site, there was a card that showed the team. Well, we can reuse things. That's another huge benefit of Appian. Something you built once can be reused in lots of places. So we've done that here. And technologists love to come up with ideas, so they'll propose these technology projects. So somebody said, hey, let's actually upgrade React. React is the technology that we use, and this UI was, by the way, built with Quick Apps, and we took the generated Quick App and we customized it to make it look even more awesome. And when you drill into one of those Quick App records, you see the detailed record. This is an example of using another very powerful recent feature of Appian called AI. And this is Appian AI at play, and we just did sentiment analysis to show you how happy or sad someone is about this particular comment, and then we can track the sentiment and use it effectively. And that's what this is doing here. Moving along, being a technology company, we're constantly scanning the horizon for what's the latest, greatest technology. Oh, look, Kubernetes and React, right? We use all of those things, so we track them, and we have Appian records to even have those things tracked, right? We actually put in details. We actually link to other things within Appian. Records are great because you can link to them. And then when you click on the link, it takes you to that record where there's a lot more fantastic information that you want to have. So for this React example, is connecting to features and use cases all connected through these links in Appian. Well, if your head is spinning by now, I hope I've convinced you that Appian is powerful. I hope I've shown you that Appian can be beautiful. Even for Appian engineers who built all these UIs, we often can't find things. So there's a way now to build a sitemap where you can, this is another app market component called a dynamic sitemap. I encourage you to go play with it and take advantage of building these kinds of layouts with Appian. All right, I'll conclude the last few minutes with dog fooding. So that's me and my dog, Wally. So Wally's going to help us learn about why we dog food. So first of all, we want to make sure that all Appian UIs are functional, they're efficient, they're intuitive and beautiful. And we look at it from the perspective of the Appian developer as well as the Appian user to make sure they're great. Because we use Appian a lot, we get to enjoy the free power of Appian every single day, so we can build these great experiences. We want to make sure that we walk in our customers' shoes, your shoes, and we have empathy with your needs, both how you enjoy Appian and both how we sometimes don't meet your needs, and then we can build in those kinds of things. Here's one story around dog fooding, where one of my directors, Carlos, he went into the process modeler and he saw, wow, there's so much stuff I can't find anything. So he added a search bar. And with that, now we can find any smart service just by typing a few letters, and bang. He did that through dog fooding, and he had added this feature within the Appian platform. And of course, through dog fooding, we get this perpetual lookout while we have a very nice, large quality engineering team that tests every single feature. We also have 1,400 Appianites that are using Appian every day. We ship to ourselves every week. And if somebody breaks something on IE11, some colleague is going to tell us and we'll fix it, right? This allows us to make sure that the software remains working with high quality for you, our paying customers. So hopefully I've given you a good blast through of all the things that we're working on within Appian with using our sites. If you want to learn a lot more, I would encourage you to take pictures of these QR codes on the top left. If you're a prospect, you should certainly check out Appian, get a free trial, experience the power of low code. And of course, for anyone who's been on this meeting, if you wanted to learn more about all these things I've talked about, of course, there's only so much I can say in a 25-minute meeting. Please go check out our blogs. We have some really good content there for you to learn and adopt within your organization. So with that, I want to thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of Appian World.